You are listening to Tony Lavorgne's Legends and Lore podcast. Tony Lavorgne's Legends and Lore podcast explores the history and tales of ghost stories, mysterious crimes, murders, UFOs, witchcraft, and other occult happenings, still thriving in the greater Ohio Valley region of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, and beyond. I am Tony Lavorgne. I am an author. I'm an independent researcher of historical mysteries and the unexplained. For 25 years, I've been accumulating and gathering tales and information on the bizarre, the strange, and folklore legends. I specialize in obscure paranormal and anthropological topics. This podcast is going to be an exercise in the study in some of the more obscure, hidden tales of our American history. We're going to examine different types of legends and folklore here in Pennsylvania and in other states such as West Virginia and Ohio. We are going to examine a variety of the different aspects to these legends. Some of the stories will touch upon the study of psychometry, mediums, and other episodes will examine and take a closer look at UFOs and supernatural activities. Allow me to introduce my producer of this podcast, Mr. Kevin Farkas.
Hey, Tony, thanks for having me on the podcast today. This is a lot of fun, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah. I'm very excited about this. Everybody loves a good ghost story, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the founder of the Social Voice Project. It's a public interest media company. You know, we could go out and we could do car commercials and all kinds of stuff like that, but we would rather work with nonprofits, community-oriented projects and organizations that, you know, really are engaging the grassroots audiences out there in small towns and, you know, local communities. So that's where we are. And so, you know, doing a podcast about this sort of spooky local history certainly fits our bill. So that's why we reached out to you. You know, one day I was driving with my producer, going to Pittsburgh and doing some work, and we saw this van pass us, and it said Goosebumps Ghost Hunters. And what the heck, here in Pittsburgh? What is this? We looked them up and we started to talk about, hey, wouldn't it be cool to have the paranormal community here in Pittsburgh, you know, share their stories? What's going on there, right? This is a very popular subject. Lots of television shows that are very popular up UFOs and Bigfoot and paranormal. And as I said, the, you know, spooky ghost stories, everybody loves those. So that's why I wanted to reach out to you and say, hey, Tony, how about sharing what you do on a podcast show with us on our podcast network? And we will tell some ghost stories and we'll have a lot of fun doing it.
Absolutely, absolutely, Kevin. Legends can exist as a dark mirror to our American culture. They can reflect our fears, our concerns, sometimes even a part of our hidden history. At the same time, they can be both difficult and hard to explain or defined in traditional academic terms. So I hope on these podcasts, for you, our listeners, we can both educate and delight in some of these more obscure and often scary tales. How we intend to do this is simple. We'll use our podcast, and we plan to invite along the Ohio Paranormal Investigation Team in some of its cases. We also will dive into psychics and mediums, and also we plan to take this show on the road. That's right, we're going to go on site to places such as Kecksburg to see what happened many years ago with UFO occurrences, and then on to Lake Erie, perhaps to look for sea monsters.
Well, that sounds great. I can't wait.
To listen to the podcast, go to the socialvoiceproject.org, and there you will find the Tony Lavorgne's Legend and Lore podcast. you like what you've heard, be sure to like, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. You are listening to a production of the Social Voice Project.